us, for us, I call us the MDU team, the Drift Indy guys. At the end of the day, I mean, the Drift Indy guys were the dudes that kind of, it was the same team that ran MDU. We were just a bunch of dudes with these wild ideas, right? So, Nick Swan at the time worked with us, and John Gilliott, which is one of the owners of MDU, kind of like the brains, I think, behind some of the operations and stuff like that, and ideas. Brad Chusky, TR, a shout out to, Aaron Bledsoe too, one of our old dudes. We would sit there, George Vega, rest in peace, my brother George. But it's just like one of those things. It's like, yo, dude, like, are we going to do this? So like with Detroit, are we going to do this? And that was just like, dude, I think that was like that was the hardest thing I've ever really done. I think was kind of run that production with this team. But at the end of the day, we all had each other's backs, dude, and like we were able to do that, right? So like just a vague memory. I think the last year that we were there, it was the year that Dirk Stratton came out with the Corvette for the first time. And then seeing him and Shane Whaley go at it, like I think it was like top 16 or top 8 competition. You're seeing a Corvette and a GTO in Detroit drifting the streets, right? It's like, holy shit, this is going down right now at one of our. So I mean, it was just awesome. That's one thing. Yeah, that's like another thing that if we could do. And I've explored the idea, right? If we could do and go back and do some kind of street event, we would. But what a lot of people don't realize what goes on behind the scenes to pull something off like that is it's a lot, man. That's a complete another story. Like a lot of people don't realize it, but the day before the last event that we ever ran there, we were actually shut down. So we were actually told like, hey, you can't run this event, right? So I remember we were here at my house and like the team and I look at Swan and like, look at John and it's like, what? And then, we had to like scramble, so for like 3 hours, we're of course drinking beer and, like we have to take off tomorrow morning to go run this fucking event. Can we cuss? I'm sorry. Like I just,
you're fine. Don't worry.
The F-bomb will drop every once in a while, but yeah, I mean, it was just one of those things where it's like, we're shut down, dude. Like we can't run this event. So like our permit was pulled, right? So we have some great friends, we have some great friends in the city of Detroit and the city of Detroit, you know who you are. We'll work again here soon, but I think, they came to our aid and bailed us out of that one. And we were able to run that one last time in 2015. So it's just a lot of stuff goes on behind the scenes that people don't really realize as a promoter and as an event organizer, right? And that's okay. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it seems like MDU was kind of the leading forefront when it came to the pro-am kind of level stuff, or the pro-am stuff, like getting into like Pro 2, because you guys, I believe you guys were like one of the first or one of the leading licensings for Formula Drift, because I know there was quite a few people that came from all over the country just to get a spot in there to get to Formula D.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely something that we're proud of. I think it was just, again, it kind of goes back to that team mentality, right? That we were all on that same, like we were riding that same wave, and people kind of realize like, hey, dude, these guys have a good program, right? But I mean, all great things kind of had to come to a pause or to an end, I feel like. But I mean, dude, from the end of 2009 when we launched the idea of MDU to 2010 season to, you call it 2015, I mean, it was a great 5-year run. You know what I'm saying? It was a great 5-6 year run. I kind of erased 2016 from my mind for some crazy reason, but but in reality, for those years, I mean, we were traveling to different tracks. There was a great production, great sponsors behind it, man. Since day one, I mean, I will give a shout out to these guys all day long. Doesn't matter what. Juku Racing has always been there for us, from like a grassroots perspective. And those guys are just, simply amazing that kind of had our backs, throughout all these years. But without all of these different partners and all these different team members, I really don't think any of that would have been possible. And a lot of drivers should look back on that and just kind of realize, like, yeah, man, like the Midwest really, in my mind, was the best in that era of drivers that are coming from here, right?
Yeah.
I mean, hell, I mean,
Yeah.
I could just name a few, that just
Yeah.
kind of blow my mind.
And there's a lot, like, what I don't think people get is there's a lot more that goes into a competition style versus, or a competition style event versus like a regular D-Day that you would throw.
Yeah,
That, like, it's
completely
just
different
so
world.
much. Yeah. And
Completely different worlds, dude. It's like
obviously
completely.
you're going to get more driver counts on a regular D-Day because there's a lot of like grassroots guys that like to go out there and just drive and have fun.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
And
and that's what it's there for. That's what it's there for,
yep.
right? It's for them
Yeah.
to shred and have fun. That's what drifting is here for.